All right, welcome back to Barbecue Bourbon and Blues. I'm your host Khalid Word, and today I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to turn a spare rib from your local market into a St. Louis style rib, okay, and make them real pretty, okay. As you can see, I have my spare rib here, the whole thing. Now, what I want to do is we're going to make this thing real pretty so it'll look great. It'll make for a great presentation a little later. So what we're going to do is take off the breastbone, take off the flap here, or the breastplate. This is where your rib tips come from. So we're going to take all of this off, square them up real good, make them real pretty, okay? So the first thing I do is I square my bones up on the bottom of my cutting board, as you can see here. All right, so I'm gonna do that, then I'm gonna take my knife and slide it over just a little bit. I'm gonna take my knife and I'm gonna cut off this breastbone here. Okay, so we're gonna start there. Now it's not really a bone, it's more of cartilage. That's what it is. So you just go straight through that with a good knife, okay? And you get to keep that meat. Okay, so you see that? That's a good piece of meat. These spares here, the whole spare rib is about $2.29 at your local market versus a St. Louis style cut is about $5.59, somewhere close to $6 for the St. Louis style cut. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna feel for the longest bone, okay? The longest bone, and that's where you wanna make your cut across. So this seems about like the longest bone here. So I'm gonna start here and I'm gonna make my cut across, all right? So here we go. Making my cut across in a straight line. As you can see, more great meat coming off of here. And you, like I said, you can keep this meat and turn it into rib tips, or you can put it in your baked beans or whatever you want to do. All right, so you see that? That's perfect meat right there. You could cook this, you could smoke this along with your ribs when you're doing it. All right, so next, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to start to square these things up and make them pretty, okay? So I'm feeling for the short bones. So there's a couple of short bones over here. I'm just going to take my knife and I'm going to cut right here. And that'll give us another piece, and that's going to start to square off. You see the edge here? Starting to square off. All right. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to square them up a little bit more. Okay, so you don't have this line. You want an even square. So I'm going to take my knife here and we're just going to come right through here. Right on those bones. Another good piece of meat there for you. As you can see, I've started to square them up. They're starting to get a little pretty. Now I'm going to start taking some of this fat off now. As you can see, you just trim them up, make them look pretty. Now this soft fat here, sometimes all the time it'll cook down, but for presentation wise, you want it trimmed up looking nice. Now I'm gonna flip it back over here, and you see this is a flap. This is what I call the flap. So I'm gonna cut this off and we're gonna start making them pretty, okay? So you just lift up and gently cut through and you'll get the flap off. All right, there's some more good meat here that you keep, and you can put it in your beans or, like I said, whatever. All right, so we got that off. Now I'm gonna trim up some of this fat, get the fat off, make them pretty. Get it off here. Be patient with me. All right. Now, anything that I could normally pick up, I normally try and get it off of there. Okay. This is going to help you become the king of your neighborhood or your family cookouts. All right. So now that we squared them up, as you can see, they're looking pretty good right now. Get this little piece of fat here. The next thing we're gonna do is take the membrane off. Okay, so usually when I take the membrane off, I use a butter knife, as you can see here, and I just go on a bone. It don't matter which one. You can start at the end, you can start in the middle, and I just slide it up under like so. And I get it started. Okay, so I got it started. I'm gonna grab a paper towel over here. Grab my paper towel, and I'm just gonna pull it off. Okay, sometimes it comes off easy, sometimes it's a little messy, but that's okay. You could just go back and get what you missed. Sometimes it'll come off in one swoop like so. That's just trash there. You don't want that, so you could throw that away. I'm just gonna get rid of it there, and I'm gonna try and get the rest of this membrane here off. It's trying to be a little tough today, but that's all right. We'll eventually get it. Hands a little slippery here. There we go. It's another piece of it. All right, so you're gonna get all of this membrane, or as much as you can, off. If you're in a competition, you want to get it all off. But we backyard today, so I forgot my rib skinners, and I don't want to mess the rib up. So we just gonna trim this up a little bit more, get some of this fat off, a little bit more of this silver skin here. And then we gonna get these puppies ready to roll. There we go. All right. So as you can see, now we have a good St. Louis style cut rib. I'm gonna flip it over and show you. All right. That's a good St. Louis style cut. That is how you turn a spare rib into a St. Louis style rib. Okay. And you just push them together. After we get them all seasoned up, we're gonna teach you a couple of the other tricks that you could do for these. Now, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can catch all our upcoming videos that's gonna be rolling through soon. And I'll see you back in a little while. Thanks for tuning in to Barbecue, Bourbon, and Blues. Thank you.